Hello everyone, it's me, Evil Murloc here, back again with another Monster Cards drawing video. Let's get right into it. Hopefully the audio bug should be fixed now, so let's hope it won't show up again. Um, let's go for an advanced card. Ooh, revival skill. Gonna check immediately what that does. Ah, it selects a player and heals one. It can even revive its ultimate ability is reviving a dead player. So this is good for team games if that rule is enabled. Otherwise it can still heal any player. So yeah, okay. Now we do have a small and human species. We already have a small human, so I will reroll both of these attributes. A medium ghost. Interesting. Well, we already have two medium cards, so I'll reroll that as well. Large, ghost, light melee. Okay, let's start sketching. So ghosts can be spirits, right? Spirits inside of machines, AIs. Or any invisible force, right? We could say it's a bacteria as well. But it does need to be big. Size is large. We should also keep in mind its element, which is light. I'm thinking perhaps some kind of astronomical thing. Perhaps a solar array that reflects sun right onto your spot. It's kind of intangible since you can never touch it, like a ghost. Alternatively, this is not really melee, is it? That would be more of a ranged attack, so perhaps a hologram. A large hologram that is meant to, well, I would say scare citizens, but maybe it's a helpful hologram since it does have that revival skill. Something that helps you. A ghost, a revival ghost. it's really big, so it's going to be a big machine. Okay, maybe some sort of mobile vehicle, mobile hospital with something like a ghost house, except the ghosts are holograms of the medicinal staff. So you can have like a doctor guy, a nurse guy, and whatever. I would like it to be a bit horror-like, so I'm just thinking what aspects I could add to make it scarier or more disturbing. Body horror is of course a possibility. We could have maybe a big amalgamation of flesh. And it can, you know, it's really big because it's made out of multiple people, but it can maybe also give you an organ to heal you. So it's not necessarily evil, even though it looks disturbing. Yes, I think I will try something like that. I'm just going to sketch it, pulling out an organ from its insides. Perhaps something like this. Ooh, I don't really remember what the heart looks like, but let's just say that's a good approximation. Of course, his arm is attached to the side. He's looming over you, so we must get the perspective right. Let's give it a nice big smile. This is stitched together from multiple parts. Maybe even a little bit of a exposed skeleton here, where some of the flesh has rotten off, and maybe it reveals even a mechanical aspect beneath all that flesh. Ooh, that's a bit too big of a brush. Ooh. must open the cavity. So it's going to be cut open right here. And then we'll see its insides, like bones, of course, the rib cage, which must be opened a little bit, actually. So it's actually going outside, so you can reach in for the organs, which will then be all laid up in piles, stored inside for use, refrigerated nicely, and kept alive by the body systems. Let's put a few different organs here. These are kidneys, the rest is, I don't know, hearts. Maybe some intestines. I guess they wouldn't necessarily be that necessarily for life, but yeah, let's do something like this. And lungs, which are kind of blue, I think. Can just pop those right in here, and maybe a little bit here as background noise. And because they're a little bit bubbly, we can add bubbles like this as a general sketch into the sketch. Can add few mechanical aspects to this. Yes, it's a light element, which, well, you have to play it a bit abstractly, so I will kind of be ignoring that, because it's not possible to interpret everything literally. Otherwise it limits you too much. It needs a second arm on this side. Ooh. And these can be like blood dispensers. Like when you need a transfusion. Let me render these fingers a bit better. Going in from every which side. Nice. How very horror. I think this arm might be partially mechanical, with just a little bit of a covering of flesh. And I think it might actually completely lack the right arm, since it doesn't really fit that well into the into the image, and it will make it look more disturbing. Or maybe you can add something completely mechanical and alien, like an injection arm. Yeah. With a big syringe. Perhaps something like this, with 3 joints. Yes, I think that looks alright. Now we can draw the actual line art, because our sketch is done. Let's start with the face, because everything will flow from it. These ribs do overlap it a little bit, so I'm gonna draw those before I draw the rest of the face. But I think this should be more like this compared to the sketch. Oh yeah. Nicely opened cavity. Yes. Now the teeth and the broad grin. Ah, excellent. This drooping eye, and then this roughly metallic skeletal structure. Ooh. It's not really exactly skeletal. I think I'll make it slightly organic, but just some old wrinkly skin, or tight skin rather. That did not come out really well. No, not like that. Yeah, that's slightly better. Let's try this arm. There's obviously some skin getting bunched up here, like this. And then I think the skin would tear a little bit. On this side, revealing the exoskeleton beneath, like this. Nice. We simply need to add the joint, which is going to be a bit hard. I think I'll just use the spherical joint. And then I'll add flesh as it leaves the joint and forms back into a hand. Add some flesh beneath the arm. Yeah, I guess this looks fine. This is a bit hard connecting the skin to the metal. Maybe we'll add some sinews there to make the connection more seamless. But for now, let's just do this, and then we have to add the fingers because they will be covering up the rest of the arm. Like this. I will actually make the organ overflow over the fingers, so I think I don't have to worry about it that much. I really want these fingers to be a bit sharper. And make the organ overflow a bit more. Like this. This is looking really nice. Then this last finger will be on the edge. And then finally, the last finger, like the real last finger, the fourth finger, will be on the other side. Like this. I'm just going to look quickly at an image of a heart so I can actually draw it better. So it just has a lot of cubing, basically. I think I got it. Yeah, the tubing really does sell it well. Perhaps I should add some tubes on the bottom as well. Not necessarily necessary. I can add later details later. More details later. Excellent. Now we'll focus on the large cavity we have here. I guess I should add the arm actually first because it is overlaid over the whole thing. This is kind of like a dome, of course stapled to the flesh. A nice rotational joint, spherical joint, another spherical joint. Of course the syringe, actually we might want to do it actually I think this is fine like this. Yeah, let's add a few more stages to it. I might want to change the color of the dip later. Nice. Now we just erase what was overlaid. Like this. And now we continue with the cavity. Yes, this is the cavity actually. And here. This is where it's actually open. And this is just the skin, which was opened. Which was cut out. Actually, I do want the skin to fall behind the arm, because when things are overlaid, that is really good for selling the 3D effect. That was a bit of a tangent, so I will just shift it a little bit. Nice. Now we just... I'm just thinking maybe I should actually leave the organs purely as color blobs without line art. I will actually return to them later and leave them as they are while I think that through. Let's add this thing. And let's sew it to the body. Nice. Then the legs. Of course, stitched from many parts as well. How does this part continue? I'm not sure exactly how the body is shaped on this side. It's a bit lopsided, but I think I can work with it. Alright. This is a bit awkward, but I think I can actually add like a mechanical part here. If I like this, and we can have the flesh be falling directly off of this joint, this metal joint, like this. Yeah, I think that's all right. Let's try coloring in a few things to see how it looks like. I think we want complete darkness into the eye. Darkness into the other eye as well, with just a simple red dot for the eye in this one. I wonder would blue maybe look better? Not bright enough. Green. Why not? Green. It It is a heal bot after all. Of course we want to add flesh color to the rest. I think I will have a sickly-ish, maybe sickly red, like this tight skin on this side. And then more yellowish on the other side. Of the face, at least, on the other side of the face. And then something like this here. Okay, this one is maybe a little bit too aggressive of a yellow color, but it will do for now. I can then use the fill tool to change it all at once. I'm actually going to darken the image so I can spot these stray pixels for a little bit. Excellent. This might actually be a good color for the ribs, if we maybe even lighten it a little bit. Nice bony color. Nice. A little bit red for the mouth. Maybe darker, probably darker. Red is better because I don't think it is. You're supposed to be seeing the tongue, and the tongue is the red part, so you kind of see deep inside of the mouth here. That's maybe a bit too dark, too light. But yeah, this will do for now. Let me change the yellow to something less aggressive. Ah, yes, that's actually pretty much what I was looking for. And I would like the other one to be actually more red. The other side. Maybe even redder than that. Ooh, yes, this nice hot pinkish color is pretty much what I was looking for. For the more exposed parts of the body, the yellow is like the epidermis, and the red is like the underdermis, whatever that one is called, which is the color of the inside of the skin, which is why I'll be coloring the flap with this color. And actually I think I will color in the inside of the cavity as well. Of course, I missed a spot somewhere. Somewhere around these. There's like one stray pixel, so I'll just do this. Excellent. Now just I have to clean up all the stray pixels. So that's kinda annoying, right? But what can you do? Nice, nice, nice. All the organs are actually hidden on the other layer. So it's going to be a bit hard to sketch, which might be a good reason why I should be using line art, but it's like whatever. I'll get to it when I'll get to it. We did say these things are kind of like blood transfuses. So we'll just fill the syringe with blood. The syringe with blood. Maybe a slightly bigger red. I mean redder red, not bigger. And these things, of course, because they're the ones containing the red liquid. The blood, of course. Now the arm, I was thinking that it could be out of a bluish metal to differentiate from the reddish skin color. This more, it can look more like sanitized hospital equipment. And all the joints will be made out of the same metal, serving as a nice contrast with the red and yellow of the rest of the piece. Good, good, good. Same thing for the arm on the other side, and the leg. And I just noticed a little bit of a line art mistake where this part has to be transparent, so I'd rather not be in the way there, so I just removed it. And I think this connection is a bit too geometrical, so I will change that to be a bit more organically connected, something like that maybe. Whoops, one too many undo. I can just erase the whole thing. Yeah, there's a little bit of a tangent line, so I'll just erase a little bit more. So I can do it better. Yes, yes, yes. I think this is all right. Now I will finish or rather, yeah, finish the coloring in the rest of the body. And then we can start drawing in organs. As for the background, I haven't yet decided. I thought maybe some ruined cityscape would look good, but I'm not sure. I will reuse the same color for this leg. Then I will use the face color for this part right here. And I will add a few other shades of yellow, so we can differentiate more pieces. I think I will actually yellow this blob a little bit. Nice, nice, nice. Then I will add a slightly greenish part. Yes, something like this. Not sure how good it will look when it's multicolored, but I'm sure it will be fine. This is clearly all part of the same piece, so it will all be colored the same way. Now this syringe has a glass part, which means it is transparent, which means I'm going to have to color it in with what's behind it, with the caveat that it has to be tinted a little bit with the proper glass effect, so get the proper glass effect. Oops, a little bit too much. Then on this side I will use slightly darker perhaps, version of the same color. No, I don't think that's necessary actually. Ooh. Yeah, this is the arm and that was the body. Okay, I see a little bit of a not necessarily problem, a mistake. The body doesn't actually continue this way, even though it should. So I'm just gonna draw it in like this. And now we can color it in. We will then separate it better with shadings and highlights, so we can differentiate the layers better. It's for the future, of course. For now, we'll just draw everything in. Now the heart will be a bright red, but slightly darker. And perhaps I'll add a few purple parts representing the blue veins. Which you can see on heart images. Nice. Whoops. I actually think I will replace maybe one finger with a metal version by doing this. And then recoloring it so it matches with the metal. I think I'm gonna change the color of the metal to something a little bit different, but for now it will work. Ooh, except I did not take into account the fact that the heart is going to be spilling over the finger, so we're not going to have to re-add that effect like this. Now it looks much better. Whoops. Yes, now you can clearly see the overlap. I'll also change the color of the fingers a little bit. Oh, maybe later, maybe later. Actually, not really a big fan of this green either. Yeah, something like this looks better. Might even... Yeah, this that would change the whole thing, so I'll just group, section this off. Actually, no, I'll leave that to later. I'll leave that to later. So yeah, looking good. Always forget I can actually zoom in fully into the image. Now, we just need to add the organs. So I think I will actually use a line art, at least so I can copy what I already have here. But I will use a thinner brush so we can properly see all the details. I will actually erase this connective part so I have an easier time overflowing the organs over the edge. So we want some nice guts spilling out in these stacks. Okay, that's maybe a little bit too thin. Oh yeah, that's much better. Does this connection even make sense? It does now. Then we want some other organs to be overlaid over it, over these ones. Grab some kidneys. Nice, like this. Maybe a stomach, not that I even remember what that looks like. I think something like this. Can have another kidney here. More intestines, flowing both down and then back up. And then back down. And then back up. We can stack some random organs here, maybe like another heart. Now that I know what it looks like, I can add it in a more efficient manner. We can add like a lung here, which I also don't really know what it looks like, but you can kind of guesstimate it from a memory. Yeah, let's just say that is semi-correct. And I'll add some, make it look a bit foamy, because that's how lungs look. And I add some random like organ stuff to the sides. A liver, perhaps. I think it looks kind of like that. Some random small organs. And like another lung in the background here. Yeah, I think this is all right. Then I'll just re-add the edge. Like this. And now we can color it in. Color it all in. So Um, I'm actually going to use the colors from the sketch. I think that those worked pretty well. This nice. Um, First of all, I drew that on the wrong layer. Second of all, I think I will actually use this deep red for the background color. Or maybe even a little bit deeper than this. Yeah. Just so you really know when something's in the background. Well, maybe even a little bit deeper. Oh yeah, oh yeah, that's good. Now I can use the brighter parts for the thing like the heart. Oh, excellent, excellent. The stomach is more skin colored, I think. More like this. Uh, Maybe it's more pinkish actually. Like this, almost the same as the skin color. I suppose so. Actually, am going to color pick from the sketch again to get a nice lung color. Nice. I'm gonna get a little more saturated for the heart and something a little bit brighter for these weird things. Oh, those are kidneys. Yeah, those are pretty bright, I think. So just put this purple color over here. Guts, they're kind of brownish, right? Well, not like that. Like this, maybe. Same with those ones over here. Excellent. This organ is I think the same one as this, but it is a little bit in the background, so I will actually make it a little bit darker. Now that you can really tell the difference. This one is going to be yellow. I don't remember what it's supposed to be, but I know it was supposed to be yellow, whatever it is. So, yeah. And I think I'll use the heart color for the rest of these. This is the liver, if I recall. I guess that I could make the liver a little bit brighter, because it's the most energetic organ in the body. And then I'll just use some random colors for these edge organs. Maybe leave in a little bit of yellow here. Hey, I don't think that looks bad. That looks pretty good. Now I'm just going to clean up the colorings a little bit because there are a lot of mistakes. I mean, it doesn't really matter that much. Nobody's going to notice stuff like this. I think I can actually leave this as it is. Yeah. I did want to do the shading now, I think. Let's get to it. So again, I think I will have the light source coming in from the top. Well, actually I should finalize the arm color first, the metal color. Let's try harsher blue. Ooh, that's a bit aggressive, maybe a bit more tealish. Yeah, this looks a bit more grayish, decayed, if you will. A sicklier metal color. I think it fits better. And now we can do the shading. So I'll take the more desaturated, the darker hue. Actually, I think maybe I should go really harsh here. Because I think I'm going to place it at the during night. So first of all, let me erase the image like this. I'm gonna use the background layer to make everything black. And now I will add, well, first of all I have to re-add white where I want it to have white. Like, for example, on the teeth. I think that's the only place where I wanted white. Yes, I think I will actually place like a lamp post here, or just a street lamp for scale, and then the street lamp will be illuminating him. So you will get this nice harsh light. I think they're kind of yellowish. You will also get the sense of scale from this. Something like this. Of course, it illuminates itself, but only from one side, so it's like thicker than what I'm drawing, because you can only see one half. And then I will actually add like smaller versions behind it. To show that there are like multiple lamps. Yeah, drawing multiple of the same thing to show that there's multiple of the same thing, that's a really great art technique you have heard first right here. Actually, I'm gonna use an even thinner brush for this. just like that. Nice, 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 nice. I think I'm going to change the yellow to be a little bit more white. After all, they are not actually yellow, they're just yellowish. And I think I should of course add some building lights at the background to signify that you're actually in a city. Window lights, I mean. Things like this. I think some of them should have slightly different colors, perhaps, because the people would have different lamps or something. I think this does give a good enough city feel. Not sure if it exactly sells the illusion really that well, but it's as good as I can make it. Now that we have our light source, we want to add shadows. So, pop. I think we will both have this lamp here and one in front of us, illuminating the front. So we'll have like two shadows basically. Two sources of shadows. So the shadows might look a little bit weird, but well, you never get anywhere by not taking risks. Ooh. Nice harsh shadows like this. Then more shadows behind, because the light source is coming from the front. This one has to be curved a little bit. Same with this. This is going to be like this. I think there's a little bit of a shadow on the edge. I think that's how the edges work. More here and on the bottom and on the far side. And this whole part is actually going to be dark, except for the bottom part it's inversed because it's on the bottom side. It's more like this. And we do the similar thing on this set of joints on the other side. Yeah. I'm gonna have to add a little bit of a yellowish tint to the highlights later, but that's, well, I guess that's for later, right? Oh, this is going to be a bit, yeah. So we have two sources. I'm gonna have to do it a bit in a bit weird way. Darker, please. Yes. And do I want to add a little bit of darkness below here? Not really. I'm just thinking, maybe do I even want this separation here? And how rigid do I want it to be? How harsh, I mean. I think something like this would be alright. I think that works. Now I have to choose a way to shade in. I mean, I have to choose a color for the skin, a color, a shading shade. And I'm going to make it a bit wrinkly, the shadow, so you can tell that that the skin is wrinkly. That's what shading lines are really good for selling the 3D shape. This is a bit annoying. I could have colored that in manually, but whatever. Then we add, of course, to the creases everything. I think I can make it actually a little bit darker, just so it's really harsh. Maybe even harsher than that. Let's leave it like this for now. Of course, this back part is going to be in a shade as well. And this is a bit awkward. I think this is like a inside part, so I'm gonna shade this. And this is actually behind the bone, so that will also be shaded. Same with this one. And this one here. And this one is actually really forward, so we're gonna do it like this. A bit separated. Then the body is actually further away from the bone, so that's going to be shifted as well again. So that we can actually see a little bit of light between the bone and the shadow. And here it is kind of close again, so we're actually gonna separate it only at the end, where it tapers off. And here it is almost underneath it. Yeah, I think this looks relatively okay. You really want to sell the fingers, so you really want to do something like this. Follow the finger almost exactly. That's such an ugly shade color, actually. Definitely I'm gonna have to choose a better one. Here it is going to be a little bit weird because of the angles. I think the bottom part is actually going to be illuminated. And I think this is on our side, so again, a little bit of a shade here. And this part is actually in the shadow of the whole arm and heart. So I'll just fill the whole thing in. Same with the leg, I think. Then I think I'll actually continue the shadow like this. And like this. Oops. Now here we want to sell the 3D effect by coloring in the edge, which we can see from the side. As you can see, it instantly looks a little bit more 3D. A little bit of shading on this crease, but otherwise it really is... Whoops! Otherwise it really is illuminated everything on this side. I will just shade in the edge a little bit now along the side of the the opening. Oh, and only on the top part, because this is actually a flap which means we don't see the edge. We actually see it on this inner side, on the left side, so I will actually add more shading here. Now we can start shading in the heart. Again, really nice harsh tone, really dark. You want to shade behind the fingers, these parts, sell the 3D effect, so on each tube individually, and on each lobe individually. Oh yeah, this is looking pretty nice. This lobe is squeezed, which means it's going to have its own shadow as well. And this is going to be a little bit shadowed from the finger. Same as here. Excellent! Looking good. Looking really good, actually. I think the organs will be kind of semi-pillow shaded, if you will, because they're kind of eliminated from the front. Which means I don't want to be really doing that many how would I say this? I'm just gonna have to eyeball it, is what I'm saying. So oh, I should actually finish up shading these. Okay, now that I look at it, the shade for the skin is actually pretty good. I think I actually chose well, now that it's everything shaded in. Now that everything is shaded in. We actually want to add a few frontal shades from these devices. Like this, and we're gonna have to map out where the syringe throws its shade. I think it's going to land somewhere here on the organs actually, because if you look, the lamp post is about head level, and this is a little bit, oh yeah, this is actually below head level, which means the shadow must drop lower, and it will be somewhere on this intestine actually. Yeah, shade. The syringe is going to be somewhere here, I think. Oh, it's saving? Ooh. It always lags a little bit. I have an autosave interval of 5 minutes, so yeah. Now this is a bit weird. How do you shade in color? I mean, blood is not transparent, right? So you should shade it like you would any other object, but probably a little bit less harshly because it is a little bit more translucent than like other things. So I'll just shade it a little bit like this. And now that I know where everything lies, I'm gonna fill in these transparency things. With a slightly different shade, of course. Oh, should actually stay completely black. This top device. Ooh, actually it shouldn't, because the light will be reflecting a little bit, so I will actually add a little bit of a different color here. Yes. Oh, and then I will... Yeah, I'm gonna have to put yellow highlights on this, but that's for later. That's for the highlighting stage. And yeah, now it's finally the organ time. Just take the organ, move everything down, and let's start shading. These parts are easy. You always do the slightly on the bottom. You don't want to be doing tops because light shines from the top. And you do the left and bottom side basically. The left side and the bottom side. Same thing here on this one. Of course, do not forget the fact that it's throwing shade on itself as well, or any other surrounding objects. I'm reusing the color here. I think this thing is going to be almost completely unshaded. Just gonna throw it like this. Okay, now the liver color. Yeah, something like this I think looks good. I should have thrown shade here, of course. Then I can throw the same shade here. And now I can shade in the lung. I will actually change the color a little bit. Just an itty bit towards blue, perhaps? Yes, I think that looks pretty good. Now this is going to be a little bit more difficult just because it's so bumpy, so I'm just gonna be shaking my arm around to sell the bumpiness effect more. And I'm gonna drop in more shadows around these lines, which I pre-drew. Of course, there are these little lobes, so I'm gonna be dropping shade there as well. Just anywhere where I can see bumpiness, I'll just drop in a little bit of a shadow where I can see an overlap. I'm really just doing it randomly, so yeah. I think that works all right. There's a lot of shade on this lung from the skin, and then a little bit here. Great, now we can go on to the stomach. This one is pretty simple from what I see. This is just a tube. Oh, that's the top part. We don't want to be shading in that much. Yeah, we want it to be the shade to go into the edge and then widen out as it drops. There's a little bit of a bottom part here which we should shade in. Excellent. Now onto this heart. I'll actually go blue, maybe. No, that does not work well. Purple? Yeah, this purplish, a little bit more desaturated. You have to desaturate it when you're in shade. We learned this in neuroscience, in optics. Your eyes actually, your visual cones, your color cones, there is like less of them, which means they don't work that well in night. Which is why things seem more desaturated during night, which means when you want to draw things in the shade, you should draw them more desaturated. Pro tip from a neuroscientist. I mean, I'm not a neuroscientist, but I could be, theoretically. Okay, this is a bit too purple. I'm actually gonna hue it up a little bit. And then I'm gonna use the same hue on these edge organs to get a nice gradient. I don't know what this is. Oh yeah, it's this kidney. This kidney color. This is like everything basically is in shade. I think we're kind of done here. The stomach actually looks not perfect. Cell. And this, ooh, this was also not really that great, so I'm just gonna add a few things here. Yeah. And a little bit, I'm gonna make it a little bit smoother because it was a bit too geometric, a bit too straight. Now we actually want to add the syringe, and I think I will add it like this on the stomach and on the intestines like this. Oh, and of course we have to add the arm in as well, which will actually go over the other intestines. So I'm gonna have to draw it all over. And actually the sphere, the joint will also be mapped here, and the other arm. Whew. Yeah, it's looking good, looking good. Now I have to add in highlights from the lamps. So I'll take the yellow, I'll flash it. Yeah, first glass. It's too bright, too harsh. Too desaturated. Okay, maybe I should use a thinner brush. Okay, now it's too similar to the skin color, so it blends in wrongly. I think I should add it to the edge of the glass, like this. And even thinner, maybe 1 pixel width. Okay, maybe 2 pixels is actually better. Not really sure I should be doing this. It is supposed to reflect from the glass. I think it should be a little bit brighter. Yes. And maybe I should be using the 1 pixel actually for these faraway ones. Like this, it's reflecting off of the metal. In 2 ways, because there are two lamps. And now I think I will add a little bit of a texture to this skin. To all the parts of the skin, because they're a bit samey right now. Of course you don't want there to be like nonsense details, because that would just distract you. So I'll just look at any possibility of adding just a little bit of texturing. Yeah, like this, for example, is not too distracting, but it adds a little bit of an interesting texture to the skin. Just so it's not a completely flat just a completely flat area. And I'll try to do the same thing with the yellow part. Just moving it slightly over. This is actually almost invisible. I think this one is a bit too harsh. Yeah, something like this actually. It's not really that noticeable, but I think it like improves it a little bit. I guess we can do the same thing with the dark one here. Again, we don't want the difference to be too big. Otherwise it can be confused for shadow or something, and we don't want that. Alright, I think we're almost done. I think all that is left now is to add the effect for the lamps, the light diffusion effect, for which I will use the opacity 10 tool and a little bit big of a brush, and I'll be drawing only over the background. Maybe I should try. Okay, I'll try 20 opacity. And I'll try 5 for the one in the back. Yeah, I think that's an alright effect. And maybe I will even add a little 10 opacities around those windows. I think that will just add a little bit of structure to the piece. Even a few pink blobs with 10 opacity, of course. Okay, that's a bit annoying how it how it actually doubles up when the light overlays the other light. So I think I can just leave it like this. Okay, oh, maybe I should just add a little bit of a highlight on the main heart, since it is the most relevant, most important one. Yeah, 5 width, maybe even 3. I want something bright, but obviously it's a heart, it's not gonna reflect the light perfectly. So it should actually be really red tinted. Oh yeah, something like this I think looks good. And all that is left is actually this mechanical part, which I forgot. Where's the layer? Yes, I'm on the correct layer. How do you do this? I think something like this is alright. And then this last joint here. And I also forgot this. This arm actually. Its connection to the joint. I think it actually looks better just like a line without this separator. Yeah, I think it actually looks better open. So I'll leave it open, and that is it. I think that is done. This is it, our light elemental, light ghost, melee large, reviving card with attack power 3. So what should we call him? Organ repository. mobile organ repository. Boop. And let's write some lore. These machines were used to provide quick medical assistance on the battlefield. Now they roam some roam the world collecting organs, longing for their past purpose. Now the remaining ones roam the world, collecting organs, longing for their past purpose. Yeah, I guess that works. Longing for their just purpose. Longing for their purpose. I think that's correct. And that's it. Done. Excellent. Well, that's it for today's card drawing video. And I guess I'll see you guys next time.